The first impressions of the Halo Infinite campaign are out, and a lot of positivity is going around on the internet. There's a few negative out there also, so I wanted to take an opportunity to collect as many as I could find and just take you through some of the points that a lot of these articles are bringing up. Let's get into it right now. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like these sort of videos, please hit that subscribe button and hit that bell to know when they go live. Now, about Halo Infinite. So there is an embargo up where people were allowed to look at the first 4 missions or so of the game and talk about their overall impressions. Code was provided by Microsoft for these impressions, and all of the embargoes are up, so people are talking about this early look at the game. Now, keeping it spoiler free, I thought I would look at some of the reactions to Halo Infinite and just take you through them one by one. The first that I noticed was from PC Gamer, and it says, based on what we played, Halo Infinite's campaign is the best Halo's been in a decade. And then their title of the article is Halo Infinite might just pull off an open world rebirth. The grappling hook changes everything. And add a little bit of context there. So you can go check out my content over on IGN for I posted a video where I showed off defeating 2 of the first bosses on legendary difficulty, and yeah, I played through on legendary for this preview. Basically, the grapple shot is very, very fun to use, and you're just constantly zipping around the map, and it is a blast. So I guess they kind of had the context, but I also kind of wanted to talk, just add my personal enthusiasm to using the grapple shot also. Brittany Brombatcher, and I just like typed in Halo Infinite campaign impressions and picked out what came up. She said, I've been playing Halo Infinite's campaign using my most professional verbiage here. It effing rules. Based on what I've played so far, all signs are pointing to it being worth the wait. So again, that is just based on the first 4 missions in the game. So getting to defeat 2 bosses and do a little bit of open world stuff and, see the campaign. It mixes a variety of internal locations and the exterior open map section, and lots of grapple hooking all over the place. Paris Vicious 696 says, having now played both campaign and multiplayer, I think it's safe to say Halo Infinite will stand out as a shining example that if your game isn't ready, it's okay to delay it. That's actually a really good point, because they went ahead and they delayed Halo Infinite a year, and it does seem like it has benefited greatly from it. One of the most common aspects that we're going to see in these tweets are the lamenting of how much they enjoy the gameplay. Like the grapple was mentioned already once, and I think a lot of people are really, really pointing to what just feels like a fun game to play. I'll give my thoughts once I've gone through all the tweets, because there are some negative tweets that I do feel have some justifiable points, but let's continue through all of them for now. Benji Sale says, I'll be honest, I wasn't sure if 343 would be able to deliver on the campaign for Halo Infinite. I've been confident in multiplayer since playing the tech test, but I was unsure on single player. Today's hands-on media impressions are overwhelmingly positive. Bring on December 8th. So actually, after the campaign overview footage, I was feeling a lot better, but I'm glad to have it confirmed. Okay, so Benji actually didn't play it, so I'm just going to move on. Benji, I love you, but I wanted to look at the tweets from people who played it. Hidden Xperia, I believe this person is a lore expert, similar to Halo Canon. He says, I cannot quite put into words how good Halo Infinite's campaign is. The story, the characters, the bosses, the dialogue, the world designs, the secrets hidden in it. I am still genuinely lost for words. My expectations were high, too high, and yet still it exceeded them. So overwhelming praise from Hidden Xperia, who seems very, very happy with his time here. Inverse actually wrote, we're the first to admit we were wrong about Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite preview hints at the franchise's best campaign in a decade. So the second outlet, I believe PC Gamer also said that. Yeah, PC Gamer said, best in a decade. Inverse says best in a decade. And Aaron Greenberg actually had a tweet from what Inverse had said in their piece. He said, Halo Infinite preview. Oh, okay. So he basically quote tweets it. Let's actually just dive in here and see. The first several hours of Halo Infinite's campaign I played as part of the preview make it abundantly clear that its open world would not be possible without the grapple shot. Grapple shot is very fun. With it, Chief can stun enemies and zip toward them, pull himself up to high ledges or across chasms, or even rip weapons right out of enemies' hands. Halo has always felt horizontal, even in the... I didn't know you could rip weapons out of enemies' hands. That's awesome. Yeah, you can fly in a Banshee. So really like it. Go check out any of these articles if you want to. Stallion, Xbox invited me to preview the Halo Infinite campaign, and now I'm falling in love with Halo all over again. I played the first 4 missions and explored tons of the open world of Zeta Halo Installation 07, which is much larger than I expected it to be. I can't get enough of the Halo Infinite campaign, and he has some screenshots here from his experience. Mintblitz. Mintblitz is this YouTuber. For some context on who he is, he does these insane tricks in the Halo Anniversary Collection, and is just ridiculously good at Halo. I love watching his stuff over on YouTube. I get recommended them a lot. He says, I genuinely think Halo Infinite's campaign might be my new favorite after playing it. David says, I'm quite looking forward to it. I just wish I had the spare time I did in my youth. Just means you'll be able to savor the campaign for longer. Tamur over at GameSpot says, wrote about the Halo Infinite campaign, which makes an incredibly strong first impression. A strong start for Master Chief's most crucial... Let's click through. Most crucial mission. All right, so Gary Whitta, Gravy Whitta's doing the Halloween thing. Known writer, I believe he wrote one of the Star Wars movies. Yeah, he has it here. He wrote Rogue One, Book of Eli. Really enjoyed Book of Eli. Star Wars Rebels. He worked on The Walking Dead, etc. He says, I got to play the Halo Infinite campaign early, and from what I've played so far, I think people are going to love it. It melds old school Halo combat with new non-linear open world elements in a balance that feels so good and just right. Much more on this week's Kind of Funny Xcast. And there were other Kind of Funny members, actually, I saw talking about it, but I didn't find the tweets when I was recording this. Man, I've just been reading tweets, and I've been going for 7 minutes. But I think this will be a good indication of how people are feeling about it who've played it. I played the first 4 levels of Halo Infinite, and if the quality keeps up for the rest of the game, then we are in for something truly special. Check out my thoughts on the Halo campaign below. Watch. Halo is back, they say. The Iron Lords podcast, Halo Infinite's campaign, breathes new life into the franchise. And here we go. So before we continue on, those were largely positive. And I was able to find a few negative takes from people who actually were able to get some time with the campaign. So I'm going to talk about those in a second, and just take these for what they are. Not everybody is going to love Halo Infinite, so let's read their takes and just see what they said. So Eurogamer, and I click through, they say, I'm still searching for the spark in Halo Infinite's campaign. And VG247 wrote, Halo Infinite's campaign hands-on. Looks like a glorified Xbox One game, plays like an absolute dream. And I found this a little odd that they would reply. It's like, clearly it's a clickbait headline, but then they're like mad at people for being mad about the clickbait headline. Okay, whatever. So they posted this thing on Twitter so people would be less mad. But also, even cross-generation games come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. Forza Horizon 5 just launched and is cross-gen. It looks wildly good on the Series consoles, especially Series X. If we think about the other side for a second, Miles Morales was a pretty great... Why are you bringing up Miles Morales? I'm sorry, but like, Miles Morales was a pretty great showcase for many aspects of the... Still, okay, Miles Morales, despite it also being a predecessor, when you compare it to stuff like that, okay, here we go. So how many sentences are we in before he talks about Halo? All right, 3 sentences. When you compare it to stuff like that, the Halo Infinite new gen glow up is pretty tame, and some are inevitably going to criticize that. But do I really care when it plays like this? Really? Okay, so he's saying he likes the gameplay, as has been echoed by many others. I guess what I'm saying is that while Halo Infinite does look a lot like an Xbox One game with some extra bells and whistles, I'm finding it difficult to really care. The fact that I feel that way is a credit to the game. I'm able to ignore that because I'm enjoying approaching its combat encounters in an open manner. I'm enjoying what the open world is bringing to the table, and against all odds, after falling almost completely out of love, excuse me, with the Halo lore, I'm enjoying the narrative and the surprisingly full way in which Master Chief feels characterized in this game. So, VG247, normally love this outlet. I've read them for years, but when you post something like this, where you're saying it, basically, you might as well have wrote Halo Infinite looks like garbage, but it plays great. You know, you might as well have written that, because like that's how it's contextually going to be taken, and then getting upset about it. And then you write 3 articles about other games, one of which is on a competitor's platform. I can sort of see why the community would get upset. Like, I don't mean to criticize. I probably shouldn't even say anything, but it's just like the headline sort of got you in trouble here with the tweet, and I understand why people would have gotten upset there. But let me back them up here for a second. Also, I do think they have a point about the graphic fidelity not being quite to what a lot of people have envisioned. The interior locations look a little bit better, in my opinion, than the exterior locations, because you have so much more to render in those big open world areas, right? So they kind of make a good point. They were just, I don't know, it's just something about how that's crafted that I can automatically, I'm like, I get why people are mad about this headline, but at the same time, I do think they have a point. So having played it, I'm like, yeah, at points visually, maybe it doesn't look the prettiest. If you remember a while back, one of the artists who worked on the game said it's not going to be mind-blowing visually, like don't expect that. And people had been setting up these lofty expectations visually of Halo Infinite for so long. So when it comes out, some people are going to criticize that. So reading the context of his article and the headline, I like, it just feels like they were stirring the pot and then they got it a little bit for it. So it's like, well, you stirred up the pot a little bit with your headline, and that's why people are upset. So it just comes off weird to me that they were defensive about it. They're like, oh, what, you can't read the article? It's like, well, I think people are starting to recognize clickbait headlines when they see it, and this is specifically designed to get a reaction out of people, right? So people were apparently mad about it. Let's see like what happened when they said it. That's because it is. I'm not even going to bother. Halo Infinite is going to be amazing. Please play it. It looks like an Xbox One game. Are y'all insane? Glad to hear the gameplay is good. I mean, yeah, people are calling, like, you post a clickbait headline, you're going to get a reaction, right? So, yeah, well, okay. People get pretty toxic there. But yeah, okay. So headlines, phrased in an odd way, a glorified, yeah, I don't know. It just seems odd. The criticism though is actually fair. What I believe they're trying to say is basically, don't set your expectations so high about the visuals. The visuals are good in moments, but it doesn't matter. So like at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because the gameplay is so good. And that's what VG247 is trying to say in this piece. I think they just went about it in a weird way that got them a little bit of heat. And I can back them up on that. Yeah, at times the visuals are kind of like, whatever. But the gameplay is so dang good and fun, especially in those first 4 missions, that you just don't care. You don't care. And I think as an industry, we put so much focus on graphic fidelity over the last few years. At least the internet has. Like Digital Foundry's been doing their thing, and we're going to talk about Eurogamer here in a second. But there's so much focus on that you gotta kind of set people up and be like, hey, like this might not look the best. Halo managed to do this thing where, okay, maybe there's moments where it doesn't look the best. I don't feel like you're gonna care because the gameplay is that good. I mean, if you care, I feel like you're almost looking for it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know what to say because it was very fun what I got to play. Eurogamer sort of had the same sentiment. They said, I'm still searching for a spark in Halo Infinite's campaign. And hopping through, this is from Wesley. Halo Infinite's campaign is about the spaces in between. Open worlds live or die on those spaces in between, don't they? What is the value of an open world littered with objectives that are clearly displayed on a map screen? If there is nothing between the objectives to stumble upon to lead you off the path of least resistance, what secrets will you uncover on this broken ring if there's no sense of mystery to their discovery? I played Halo Infinite's campaign for a handful of hours now, taking in its first 4 missions and a generous dollop of exploration, and I'm still searching for that spark in the in-between places. Not the guilty spark. The relentless chatterbox can do no one. That relentless chatter. I mean, the kind of spark that surprises and delights. Well, I mean, I would ask this reviewer if I could, and I won't read the whole thing on here. I'll go read it afterwards, I suppose. But like, open worlds live in those in-between spaces. Well, what about all the random encounters with, just elites and squads that you encounter in the open world, or the hidden collectibles that you find while you're wandering around, the audio logs that actually dive into a lot of the lore and the things. Like, to me, that was super enjoyable. So to say that there's nothing like that in your opening headline, to me, I'm a little surprised, honestly. So the visual thing I'll give you, but the not finding anything in the open world, like there's skulls to find, there's audio logs to find, there's various other things to find. So I'm just a little bit surprised by that opener. But I mean, honestly, I think the phrasing is the issue here with the VG 24/7 thing. So I mean, but that's their opinion. Whatever, they think it looks like an Xbox One game, I guess. Whatever. But the reaction, getting mad when people are like, this is clearly like you're trying to get clicks, and that's their job, right? To get your interest, to get you into it. But then people, I don't even see anybody getting that upset. It's just kind of like, yeah, I'm reading these responses, and I don't see anything that harsh, but whatever. My two cents on it, and I don't want to be too long. It is so incredibly fun. I played through the first 4 missions on Legendary. It was a blast, and I am sitting here right now waiting to go back and play more. I cannot wait to play more Halo Infinite, and you can check out my full impressions and content that I'll be creating for Halo Infinite over on IGN.com. So thank you so much for watching my video. I definitely appreciate you hanging out here talking a little bit about the reaction to Halo Infinite. If you like these sort of videos, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to know when they go live. I appreciate you very much if you have subscribed. If you want to support this channel, you can become a member. Memberships are turned on. Thank you so much to all of the members who have said, Destin, I want to support you. If you would like to be one of those people, you can click that join button. I always try and upload these videos with no ads. People are like, I hate the ads. Well, be a member and I'll upload it again with no ads on, just for you, as a way to say thank you. I have now responded to every comment from anybody who's a member. I sign on at least every few days and make sure I make a reply to at least those people who are members. So thank you to them. I'm going to get out of here. I want to go play Halo multiplayer. Oh, well, okay. So the video's already too long. Anyway, let's hop over this. I meant to bring up my final thing. The Halo Battle Pass is getting an update. Events with free content are an integral part of Halo Infinite's multiplayer seasons, and with our 20th anniversary event wrapping on November 22nd, we wanted to look ahead at what's to come. Draw your blades for Fracture, Tanar'ri arriving next week, and that's just for starters. So you get a look at the armor set. Fracture, Tanar'ri, Fracture. I think it's like a game mode that's going to be coming out very soon. So really, really excited to see what this armor looks like. And that is it for me. I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.